After 30 years, Star Trek Voyager is finally giving fans the ending they never got. When Star Trek Voyager first aired its finale, Endgame, in May 2001, fans celebrated and grieved at the same time. After 7 seasons of Delta Quadrant adventures, Captain Catherine Janeway and her crew finally made it home to Earth. Yet despite the emotional reunion, something felt incomplete. The finale wrapped up the journey, but it didn't give audiences the closure they truly craved. For decades, Trekkies have wondered what became of Voyager's crew after that triumphant return. Now, 30 years later, it seems Star Trek is ready to finish the story. Paramount's Star Trek universe has been on a renaissance streak lately, bringing back legacy characters and unfinished stories from the 1990s golden era. Star Trek Picard gave fans closure for the next generation. Strange New Worlds resurrected the charm of classic Trek optimism. And now, in what feels like poetic justice, Voyager is finally getting its long-awaited epilogue, one that promises to heal old wounds and give the Delta Quadrant explorers the send-off they deserve. The Voyager finale fans couldn't quite accept. To understand why this return matters so much, you have to revisit Endgame. The finale saw an older Admiral Janeway traveling back in time to alter history, ensuring her crew reached Earth sooner and spared years of suffering. It was an emotionally charged, high-stakes story filled with Borg battles, time travel paradoxes, and hard moral choices, quintessential Voyager. But when the ship finally burst through the trans-warp conduit and emerged above Earth, the episode simply ended. No aftermath, no emotional catharsis, no reunion scenes between family and friends. For a show that had spent 7 years emphasizing the crew's longing for home, the finale skipped the very moment the entire series was building toward. For years, even Voyager's cast admitted to feeling unsatisfied. Kate Mulgrew Janeway once remarked that she wished the show had taken a breath to let the homecoming land emotionally. Robert Picardo the Doctor agreed, saying fans deserve to see how these people reintegrate into society after being gone for so long. The audience wanted to see Tom and B'Elanna introduce their daughter to Earth. They wanted to see Tuvok's family reunion, 7 of 9's first steps as a human among humans, and Harry Kim finally earning the promotion he'd been denied for 7 seasons. The finale delivered the spectacle, but not the soul. The long wait for closure. Over the years, Voyager's legacy has only grown stronger. Once considered the black sheep of 1990s Star Trek, it's now celebrated for its strong female lead, its risk-taking storylines, and the emotional complexity of its characters. The show's streaming resurgence introduced Janeway and her crew to a new generation, many of whom immediately noticed the same thing old fans did. The ending wasn't really an ending. There were attempts to continue the story, novels from pocketbooks, fan campaigns for a reunion film, and even whispers of a Voyager follow-up series. But none of it was canon, and none of it featured the original actors reprising their roles in live action. Star Trek Picard gave brief nods to Voyager's aftermath. Admiral Janeway was mentioned. 7 of 9 became a regular, but the full picture remained elusive. That's about to change. The return of Voyager. Reports from Paramount insiders and hints from the Star Trek creative team suggest that a new Voyager-focused project is officially in development. Whether it's a streaming movie, a limited series, or a crossover event, one thing is clear: this will be the definitive follow-up to Voyager's finale. Kate Mulgrew herself has teased the project multiple times. Speaking at conventions, she's hinted that Janeway's story isn't finished and that she's been approached about something very special. Those who followed Mulgrew's career know she's selective about returning to old roles. Her voice work in Star Trek Prodigy as both Admiral Janeway and Hologram Janeway was already a love letter to fans, but she's made it clear she wants one final live-action chapter for her captain. If Picard Season 3 was the swan song for the next generation, this new Voyager project may serve as the same, a long-overdue emotional resolution for a crew that's been stranded in fandom's collective heart for 3 decades. What the story might explore. While details are tightly guarded, there are several directions the story could take, and all of them could give the closure Voyager fans have waited for. 1. Janeway's legacy and the cost of command. After Endgame, Janeway was promoted to Admiral and later appeared briefly in Star Trek Nemesis, giving orders to Picard. But her career trajectory is a mystery after that. Did she struggle with guilt over altering time? Did her crew adjust well to the abrupt transition home? A new story could explore Janeway in her later years, wiser, perhaps haunted, and forced to confront the lasting impact of her Delta Quadrant decisions. To the crew's return to Earth, imagine the emotional reunion scenes we never got. Tuvok reuniting with his wife T'Pel after years of absence. Tom Paris trying to prove himself to his Admiral father. 7 of 9 facing prejudice on Earth, but finding belonging through Starfleet. These are rich emotional arcs that could easily form the core of a limited series. 3. The next generation of Voyager. In Prodigy, Janeway mentors a new crew of young explorers. A live-action continuation could bridge that story, showing how Voyager's legacy inspires a new era of Starfleet adventurers. Tom and B'Elanna's daughter, Maral Paris, could take a central role, representing the new generation influenced by her parents' journey home. For the Delta Quadrant's lingering mysteries, even after 30 years, the Delta Quadrant remains one of the most mysterious regions in Star Trek. A follow-up could send Janeway and a new crew back to revisit the worlds and species they encountered, perhaps to repair the damage the Borg left behind or uncover new threats. Voyager's theme was always about exploration, redemption, and perseverance. Returning to that spirit would be poetic. The emotional power of coming home. More than anything, what makes this new chapter so exciting is its emotional potential. Voyager wasn't just about space battles and temporal paradoxes. It was about a found family surviving the impossible together. Their journey home symbolized hope, but that homecoming always remained abstract. What happens after the journey ends? What happens when you've built a life around getting home and you suddenly arrive? That question resonates deeply with fans who've grown up alongside Voyager. The world of 2001 was different, simpler, more idealistic. Today's audiences crave emotional authenticity, not just spectacle. A reflective, character-driven Voyager sequel could explore aging, legacy, and how time changes even the most resilient explorers. Janeway's struggle between duty and compassion, Seven's evolution from Borg to human, Chakotay's spiritual journey, Harry Kim's enduring optimism, all these threads could finally converge in a way that feels both nostalgic and fresh. Why now feels like the right time? The current Star Trek era thrives on legacy. Picard proved that revisiting older characters with modern storytelling can yield deeply satisfying results. Strange New Worlds celebrates Trek's past while innovating its tone. And Lower Decks and Prodigy remind fans that humor and heart are at the franchise's core. A Voyager continuation fits perfectly in this landscape. With streaming platforms giving creators more freedom for serialized storytelling, there's finally room to tell the quiet story not about a ship lost in space, but about people rediscovering themselves after being found. Moreover, with the rise of cross-series connections, we could see